Welcome back to week 9 of becoming an electrician. I started off this week with my new book, my second book. I opened up the first couple of pages and back to health and safety. Don't worry, we won't be talking about that here. This will be far more interesting. I started off comparing the difference between statutory and non-statutory legislation. It's pretty much all statutory apart from the wiring regulations, BS 7617, but even that non-statutory document can be backed up by statutory legislation in a court of law. So basically the takeaway is just follow it all. Anyway, I also went over the steps to make sure that a system is dead before it's worked on. I think of all the times in the past that I've worked on my own home electrics, even just changing sockets, and I haven't followed all these steps. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd turn the breaker off and I'd check it with a multimeter, but there's so much more to it. This is why it's a good idea, in my opinion, for anybody to just pay an electrician when there's so many risks, whether it be at the time of install getting shocked, or afterwards with fire and again getting shocked. Interestingly, this week I was reminded of some of the specialist areas that electricians could work in. Some of those are highway electrical systems such as gantries or lights, cable jointing, which I believe can be carried out live, maintenance on places like factories, hospitals, universities and schools where there's a lot more complexity, and three-phase power. There's a subset of electricians that deal primarily with machine drive installations, which work to provide power to variable speed motors, ensuring the greatest efficiency. This can cover things like pumps, compressors and fans. When you get into an industrial setting, motors are everywhere, and some of them are massive. I think of mines as an example. They have motors that crush rocks, supply ventilation, or systems for lifting people and materials. All of these things are powered by motors, and there's plenty of controls to go along with it. Then there's panel builders, which can cover things like switchgear and control panels and motor control circuits. Again, in industrial settings such as pharmaceutical production, there's a need to measure and control processes, maybe through valves, level switches, and different types of gauges. All of these need wiring in place. I looked at a number of different drawings and diagrams. I hadn't really thought about it before, but all of the designs and layouts need communicating in both the installation and for those in future to be able to work on the system.
Yeah, boss, I put that socket in just like you asked.
Any idea where these wires connect? We've got assembly drawings or CAD drawings. These are my favourite. Can we just take a moment to appreciate CAD drawings? Don't you just love the mechanical world, all of the designs and equipment, and being able to tear it apart in a CAD software? Ugh. Then there's block diagrams, where we mentioned simple layouts and sequences. Then we've got circuit diagrams. These will have symbols which are set out in a regulation called BS EN 60617. I'm pretty sure I need to learn that reference. I'll put a few random and harder 60617 electrical symbols on the screen now. Let me know in the comments if you can work out what they are. Oh, finally, a nice easy one, giving you all the chance to comment below. These circuit diagrams have come in handy in the past when I've attempted to fix circuit boards or appliances. I'm only really competent to replace the obvious burnt out components, but I do enjoy using a soldering iron. If we were to zoom out we have schematic diagrams which can show how a motor or a circuit is to be wired, as well as its position in relation to other components. The final mention is the manufacturer's data or service manuals. Say we've got a solar inverter, it's pretty useful to know how this is meant to be wired, and this information will be provided by the manufacturer. Well, there we have it. Another week of Battery Man. Definitely some new information this week, as well as some old information on health and safety. Having spoke to my training provider, I understand that the first exam I take when I go into centre is for health and safety. So it does make sense for them to keep bringing it up each week. Well, there you have it. Another week of Battery Man. Don't forget to tell me how much you appreciate CAD drawings, just like me, in the comments below. Battery Man out.